All right, we are live and we're talking about Bellator 258. It's the weigh-in recap and full card predictions and betting breakdown. Got some good fights on this card. I'm really looking forward to Bellator tomorrow. We got PFL live stream coming up, actually probably pretty quick after this video. A lot of things to talk about in the MMA world this week. Covering a ton of stuff, with the UFC, Bellator, and PFL all being on. So we got back-to-back action. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Go for this video. The weigh-in recap. I think we can get 80 likes at the minimum. So we're going to say 80, but I think we can surpass that. And I know you guys will come through. Hey, what's up, man? Greeting from Poland, bro. Yeah, what's up, buddy? Greetings here from Florida to you, Patrick. We're going to get into it here momentarily. I'm going to bring up the live chat on my phone so I'm able to see what you guys are saying without flipping screens back and forth. Right. We are here. About to get into it in just a second. Make sure this is up and running. All right. The live chat is here. We're good to go. Appreciate everybody tuning in. What's up, Thomas Howard? How you doing, buddy? So we're going to break down every fight on the card as normal. We got images from the weigh-ins. Definitely some very fun fights on this Bellator card. This is honestly a stacked card that they have for us. Bellator, guys, it's high-level stuff. Bellator is really delivering. So let's start it off with the first fight of the night. Erik Perez, Blaine, Shutt. They don't have the updated weights listed, so give me just a moment to actually pull those up because I do want to make sure we get the accurate weights here. We're pretty early on this weigh-in recap. Normally we do it at night, but at the end of the day, I wanted to give you guys the action early before the PFL card, and I really didn't feel like doing a live stream, at midnight tonight. But we were willing to do it if we had to. We did have one weight miss on the card, which we will talk about. It's on the second fight of the night, but this is the first fight of the night. Erik Perez versus Blaine Shutt. If you remember Erik Perez, he was in the UFC. He was a decent fighter there. He actually finished out his UFC career with some W's. The guy's a pretty well-versed mixed martial artist. I think he has a high-level skill set. I'm very excited to see what happens in this fight here for Perez. He came into Bellator with a good amount of momentum. Hasn't lived up to it. He got stopped in 50 seconds, and then he lost the unanimous decision to Josh Hill. The 52nd fight, he got caught. He's been fighting for a very long time. It's the fight game. Shit happens. He's back here. We'll pull up the image from the weigh-ins. You got Erik Perez and Blaine Shutt. Let me quickly bring this over. Looks a little better. All right, both guys made weight at the 135-pound contractual limit. With Erik Perez, the guy's a pretty aggressive fighter. He's a good striker. I would say sometimes maybe exposes himself too much, but is known for a good chin. Granted, he does have that fairly recent knockout loss. I don't necessarily think he's going to go out here and look chinny by any means against Shutt. Now, I will bring up something to note. Shutt is known as a pretty decent wrestler, and he's definitely very aggressive with his wrestling, and he has 6 wins by submission, so he is a finisher when the fight hits the ground. Perez, on the other hand, he is looking to bounce back from a 2-fight losing streak. He's got 5 KO wins on his resume and 8 wins by submission. Well-rounded fighter. Perez is not a guy to be laid and preyed on. He has a good skill set. He's high level and at one point was a UFC fighter. And Blaine Shutt is good, but I think Erik Perez should grind out a unanimous decision. But the minus 450 price tag is definitely too heavy in my personal opinion here. I think the odds could have been much closer, but it's just the lack of name value in Blaine Shutt and obviously the good name value with Perez being a UFC fighter and a Mexican fan favorite. How many, Mexican guys really make it to the highest level? Granted, now there's starting to be a lot more, and they definitely develop big Mexican fan bases. Erik Perez, minus 500-ish to plus 400-ish for Blaine Shutt. You're going to see the odds varying around that. I like to see Perez winning. I don't really think he's going to lose the fight. And Thomas Howard says, don't fade the luchador mask. You can't. Perez does it right, man. I'm a fan of Perez. I've always liked his fights. Don't have a ton of props, but we have enough props. Perez by decision at -120. Do I love it? No. I think it's highly likely. Yes. If you're looking to play a prop bet on this one, I like Perez winning by a decision. I don't necessarily think he's going to get Blaine shut out of there. I think we're looking at 3 competitive rounds with just a little bit more output, aggressiveness, and effective striking by Perez here. So for me, I think Erik Perez for the victory. Both fighters making weight, which I'm very happy about. And I think we're going to see Erik Perez get his first Bellator win over Blaine Shutt, who's a decent fighter. I mean, hasn't fought the most high level guys, has some recent losses. Erik Perez is going to take him out by a unanimous decision here. The face-off didn't really change anything of my opinion. It's the same. Both guys in good shape. Should be a good scrap. I got Perez winning, though. Next fight of the night, Welber Almeida, undefeated prospect versus the 3-1 Johnny Soto. The fighter that I was talking about, that missed weight was Soto. He comes in over the limit, which is not a good sign for him here. Comes in at 48.5. Not a terrible weight miss, but still 2.5 pounds off. It's never a good look, and it's never good, coming in there missing weight against a high-level opponent. Granted, maybe the mindset was, let me get a little weight edge on this guy to maybe upset Welber Almeida. Is he substantially bigger? No, but he is a bit taller. We'll pull up the image from the weigh-ins here and talk about the face-off between these two. I don't necessarily think that it changes the opinion. I mean, if you look, the size is relatively the same for these guys. If you look at Blaine Shutt here, let me actually shrink this image down so you can see them side by side. Almeida, very lean, Shutt in good shape. I mean, I don't think there's any discrepancy in size. Really, it looks like Soto might be an inch or half an inch taller. With Welber Almeida, he's shredded to the bone. Soto fairly lean. I like Welber Almeida in this fight. We talked about it earlier on in the week. I don't think that his opponent here, Soto, is necessarily a bad fighter. I think he's got a decent skill set from what I've seen of him. Good fighter. I wouldn't say I want to bet the house on him. I prefer Almeida here. Soto is a pretty good wrestler, though. Almeida being a southpaw, it's going to be tricky. He does have a kind of karate-esque, interesting style. You see good wrestlers struggle with that karate stance sometimes, especially that wide base. Very good kickboxing, and he does mix it up well. And let's also talk about 4 KO wins out of his 4 fights for Welber Almeida. He's a finisher. Now, taking on Soto here, he is also known as a finisher. 2 submissions, 1 knockout. Might be more competitive than I think the betting lines are going to give him credit for, but I don't necessarily think he's going to go out there and beat Welber Almeida. I think Almeida by a late TKO is possible here. For his career, I think a 2nd round knockout or sooner would be the best look, because at 33 years of age, it is now or never. At the -550 price tag, I don't necessarily love a bet on Almeida straight up. I do think he should win the fight. Him winning by decision is +280. I could see it going the distance, but I think more so he's going to eventually get Soto out of there, especially Soto missing weight. Maybe he's not in the best shape. Not going to guarantee that he's in the best shape, but maybe. It's a factor. So let me quickly look. They don't have the props for a finish, but we do have Almeida winning inside the distance at -160. I don't love that bet. If you want to put Almeida on a parlay, he should be good to go. I like the over 1.5 round more than anything at -115. I think Soto could potentially get into the 3rd round. He is a pretty decent wrestler. I think he's going to look to chain wrestle, to get on top, to control his opponent here. Granted, I think Almeida's defense will be very good. He'll be very effective, and he's going to be able to stop Johnny Soto. I have Welber Almeida winning by late TKO in this matchup. Could see the fight going the distance, but more so Almeida with a knockout finish. He's 33, so it's now or never. The height, 5'9" to 5'7". We saw the face-off just now. I don't think there's really much of a height discrepancy there. But let's get to the next fight of the night, man. We're starting it off with some fun action here in Bellator. I'm really excited to see these fights. Unfortunately, Soto missed weight, so he's definitely going to lose some of that purse. And Almeida should also beat him, which could find Soto outside of Bellator if he's unable to make that weight. And to Michael Key, you say that Usman's shoulders are too big for him to be natty. You talking about Kamaru or his brother Mohammed Usman? Because both of them are jacked. Henry Corrales here versus Johnny Cupcakes Campbell. Corrales is a really fun guy to watch, coming off a big win in his last fight over Brandon Gertz. Competitive fight, though. Does have a knockout over Aaron Pico. He was badly hurt in that fight, though, and we do have to know, Aaron Pico, somebody to keep an eye on. I'm an Aaron Pico fan personally. I think he's got a ton of skills. It's just they threw him to the dogs early, and obviously that's why you saw the mixed results early on, but he's really starting to deliver. His opponent here, this being Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, wild striker who's definitely known for aggressiveness and likes looping punches. Does have a good amount of power, though, and I will say he's pretty awkward, too. 8 KO wins, 2 KO losses. I mean, he's a guy that's do or die, kill or be killed. He has a fun style, and definitely the fans will enjoy Johnny Campbell. If you haven't seen him fight before, he's actually a fun guy to watch. Corrales, on the other hand, fun to watch too. Very good striker with a lot of knockout power and has had the highest level of Bellator experience. 7 wins by KO, never being KO'd before. I think we're going to see Henry Corrales get a finish in 2 rounds or less here. I have a second round knockout. That's going to be my pick. I think he puts down Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, who's coming off of a quick loss, but that was because his ear like exploded and then they had to stop the fight. At minus 550, he's a parlay addition or maybe a potential prop, but I do want to bring up the face-off before we go over to the betting page here. Let's get this stare down, because it was a near nose to nose stare down here. They were definitely looking at each other and they're in it. I mean, both guys in very good shape physically. I mean, slightly taller is Corrales in the striking. That will be an advantage from kickboxing range. I think he's going to use his tools nicely from the outside. I think he'll hurt Johnny Campbell with the hands. And if you watch a lot of Campbell's footage, is open at times for counter shots, and Corrales is a type of guy, he'll counter you effectively and he will put you down. I have Henry Corrales winning this fight, and I think he puts on a very good performance, and I really believe Henry Corrales is a fun fighter to watch at bantamweight now. He's definitely a contender there. He made weight. I will say he did look a little bit drained. He did look a little thin, but I still think Johnny Campbell is a tough journeyman. Henry Corrales is a contender in Bellator, at least top 7, top 8. I think we're going to see Henry Corrales get the W here. I have him winning by knockout. I think it should also be an excellent fight, and I cannot wait to see it. Let's bring up the betting stuff here and just talk some bets. Let's see what props are available for this fight here. All right, Henry Corrales and Johnny Campbell. Cupcakes Campbell. And oh, you're talking about Muhammad Usman. He's definitely jacked, man. I was thinking, man, this guy's in great shape. Could be. You know, you got to just remember one thing. I mean, his family is from Africa. Could just have some extremely good genetics. I don't want to go out there and just say he's definitely on something. I don't know. He hasn't failed the drug test, so as of now, he's natural. And that's all I can say on that one. I don't know. But he definitely is very jacked. And I do see what you're saying, Michael, about the shoulders. They're very round. But let's talk about this fight, Henry Corrales, Johnny Campbell. The bets to make. Maybe you want to throw a little something down. But now Corrales is at minus 900. The odds have strongly shifted in his favor. I don't think likelihood of the dog coming through. I like the under 2.5 rounds here. That is at plus money at plus 110. I like that prop bet if you are looking for one. Corrales wins inside the distance, also plus 110. I really think he's going to get the knockout over Johnny Campbell here. Campbell has been put down before, and if Campbell does go the distance, that's a great reward for his career. I mean, that's a good look if you go the distance with a guy like Henry Corrales, who's finished some decent names in the past, knockouts of tough up-and-coming guys. Granted, the last fight, Brandon Gertz is a very difficult fighter to deal with, and he got a split. No shame in that one. Gertz is an animal. Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, Henry Corrales. I got Corrales by knockout in the second round. I like the inside the distance bet on Corrales, and I also like the under 2.5 on Corrales, or rather under 2.5 in general if you're looking to play some bets on this fight with props. If not, parlay up your boy Henry Corrales, but at minus 900, it's not the juiciest of price tags, and it's disappointing to see how widespread. Nobody had faith in Campbell as a dog. A lot of people aren't picking him, and it's understandable why. Certain Bellator matchmaking, you kind of know who's supposed to win the fight, and unless some fluky shot lands, I think we're going to see Corrales dominate and put on a very good display. Now let's get to the next fight of the night, and if you guys have not yet, smash that like button. As we said, the goal for this video is going to be 75, 80 likes. I'm going to say truly the deep goal, though, is 100 likes. Every time we look for triple digits. So if we can get 100 likes, that would be the number one thing. We got Johnny Eblen, the Korean Canelo versus Daniel Madrid. Before we talk to it, I do want to answer a couple comments here. To Vanderpool Bryant. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Brandon Sales is huge. And Thomas, you need me to back you to convince Stots when we go to that fight. I'll see if I can convince you, but I can't 100% guarantee I'll sway you because I do agree Josh Hill is good. Baby Yoda, shout out, brother. How you doing, man? I think that I really do appreciate what you're saying, man. I appreciate you. What's up, Mystic Sosa? How you doing, man? All right. And yo, Thomas Howard, man, I really appreciate that compliment, man. We grind here at MMA Experts. It's the best sport in the world, MMA, and I love boxing as well. I'm trying to cover everything. I'm trying to give you guys the best picks. I'm trying to give my opinion to the world that, you know, has been years of studying the game. And I mean, I've been watching the sport since, you know, before I really remember. I just grew up in the fight game, family of fighting, growing up in the boxing gyms and whatnot, and then MMA becomes this new big thing, and it's a beautiful sport, and I love talking about it, and I always feel so much passion to tell you guys who I think's gonna win. I love breaking down these fights. And Johnny Eblen and Daniel Madrid, you got a hot prospect in Eblen versus an OG that's now getting a big opportunity in Daniel Madrid. I don't think we can just totally write off Madrid because he is good, and I do think it could be a competitive bout. I have some notes that we talked about earlier in the week, and I will bring them back up and bring up a couple points from them, which why I feel Johnny Eblen, the strong favorite, should win. He's a pretty aggressive fighter who has very good wrestling, and he's extremely heavy when he is on top. His top control is very good, and his stand-up game is improving. Now, Madrid on the other side is a southpaw, and southpaws sometimes cause havoc to some of these dudes. I mean, some guys just get really fucked up when they see that southpaw stance. I don't think Eblen's a guy that's going to be fucked up too badly by it. He's got a very good submission game. This being Madrid, he's got a very good submission game from the bottom. 15 wins by submission, but 3 knockout losses in the past. Not chinny by any means, but he can be put away. Eblen, a beast of a wrestler, a guy that's going to continually shoot for takedowns. Physical strength advantage on the favor of Eblen. The wrestling advantage, Eblen. When you have a really good wrestler versus a guy that's really good at jiu-jitsu, if the wrestler has competent Brazilian jiu-jitsu, we see the result most of the time. The wrestler will pressure the jiu-jitsu fighter and dominate from the top position. I'm picking the wrestler in this one, Johnny Eblen. He's a hot prospect. At the plus 280 tag, is there maybe value in a Madrid submission? Maybe he catches a guillotine early? Maybe. Maybe. It's minimal, but it's possible. I personally wouldn't throw down more than a sprinkle if you're looking to put something on Madrid, because I just don't think he has the high-level skill set to deal with the wrestling of Johnny Eblen. You got Eblen there in Madrid. Madrid definitely the taller of the two. In my opinion, that's actually more of an advantage for Eblen. The legs are going to be easier. The double legs in the center of the cage are going to be easier. In the clinch, he's going to be able to get low, land takedowns. He's going to out-wrestle Daniel Madrid over the course of 3 rounds. And I got Eblen winning this fight by a unanimous decision, and he's going to beat Daniel Madrid. He's ranked number 6 at middleweight too, so keep an eye on Johnny Eblen. He's definitely a guy to watch here. We have to give him the due respect. Beat Taylor Johnson, Mauricio Alonso. I mean, this guy has fought some decent names already. 29 years of age versus 37. I got the younger fighter in Eblen, and I think the wrestling will shine here. Now, let's check out the odds for this matchup here, and let's see what we can maybe do as far as props, as far as parlays and everything else. Let's see if I can find the betting breakdown here, rather the betting picks here, the betting props. What am I talking about here? All right, over 1.5 minus 400. It's expected to go late. Over 2.5, you're looking at minus 205. Again, this fight is probably going to go the distance. The odds makers see that at minus 175 price tag going the distance. I would rather push you towards betting on Eblen, but here's the issue. Eblen wins by decision, minus 120. It's not beautiful, but I think if you are a prop guy, you want to throw down a prop. Eblen winning this fight by a decision is a near lock. He could get a finish, he could, but I think more so he's going to get a decision. I mean, he has unanimous decisions in pretty much the past 3. His whole Bellator career is unanimous decisions, and I think a unanimous here over Daniel Madrid is the most likely outcome. He's going to get at the legs. He's going to land takedowns and control from the top. And Eblen's a guy to keep an eye on at middleweight. You got a tricky grappler with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defense. Eblen could be a problem. And he's 6'1". He's not undersized at middleweight by any means. He's not the biggest, but he's a solid-sized middleweight. And I think he's a fun guy to watch. And I think he wins here with very superior wrestling skills. Let's get to the next fight of the night. This is a fight between somebody who I could see challenging for a world title one day in Logan Storley. He just recently gave Yaroslav Amosov the toughest fight of his entire career, and a lot of people were very impressed by him. The wrestling of Logan Storley, beast mode level. Like, this guy is high level wrestling. When he's on top, he's extremely good with positional control. He's coming off that competitive fight with Amosov, which to me rose his stock a ton, even in losing a split decision that was very close. 8 wins by knockout on the resume. I think he's probably going to put Omar Hussein to the ground consistently, dominantly, and when he gets on top, it's pretty much finished. Southpaw is Hussein with pretty quality kickboxing skills. He's actually really fast with his legs, and he likes to mix the stances up too. But against a wrestler here like Storley, there's no hope for Omar Hussein. We'll bring up the weigh-in image, but it doesn't really matter because Logan Storley is going to run him over. It's an absolute mismatch. Storley is a top welterweight, and his opponent here is absolutely not. See them next to one another, looking like young Peter Parker on the right with Omar Hussein. He is taller at 6'1", but again, the taller man, the legs are going to be there. You're going to see consistent takedowns, and you're going to see top control from Logan Storley. He's going to get the win and move forward. I really believe Logan Storley is a hot prospect, or rather a hot contender in Bellator's welterweight division. I have him winning this fight fairly dominantly. I think he gets a TKO in the second round. Could even happen in the first. His opponent is a good striker, does train at Team Alpha Male, but you see that Samford MMA tag, you know he trains with very good fighters. Those guys are animals out there. Granted, Team Alpha Male is too. I know it's a little bit different with the way they have coaching and whatnot. Naturally, bigger guys, Storley, at least bone structure-wise, even though he's shorter, he's going to dominate. He's much physically stronger. His wrestling's much better. Logan Storley, TKO, round number 2. The bet on this one, if you're looking to throw down, let me check these here. Logan Storley, he's such a big favorite at minus 1,500. Storley wins by a decision, plus 163. I see the TKO here. Storley wins inside the distance, minus 138. You can find it minus 145. I'll be honest, I like Storley winning inside the distance if you're looking for a prop bet and you're looking to bring the odds slightly better, because at minus 1,500, that's an ugly price tag unless you're really just trying to throw a lot of fighters in your parlay. It's not going to give you a ton of value. I like Storley wins inside the distance if you need a prop bet. I like him at the minus 138. He can be a parlay pickup as well. And I think he's going to go out there and put on an excellent performance. And he's a guy to watch in Bellator. We really got to keep an eye on Logan Storley. He has a good skill set, and I think he could take this very far. Let me check out some of the comments here. Baby Yoda, what's up, my brother? Got the $600 parlay coming in. You don't like the main event pick. Hey, man, I respect it, and I understand why a lot of people were wary on my pick of Pettis, and we will talk about that a little later on. We're going to be there in probably the next 30 minutes or so, and I really do want to talk more about that fight. And I want to talk about the size and the weigh-ins, the face-off. At the end of the day, we'll get into it. And then I'll tell you more about what my thoughts have been later on as the week has gone on. Patchy, No Love Mix, Albert Morales. I really think Patchy Mix is so good. And seeing his last fight against Juan Archuleta, that was a tough performance. Archuleta really proved something in that fight. And Albert Morales is not going to be near the level of Patchy Mix here, and that's why you see the odds as widespread as they are. I mean, Mix is a absolute phenom when he gets on the ground. I do believe he'll eventually be back in that world title position. I've been high on Patchy Mix for a very long time. He's a southpaw with pretty decent striking, but shines in the grappling. He has 9 wins by submission, excellent top control, an excellent submission game. You look at Morales, a solid striker who does have pretty decent boxing and speed, but he'll brawl and get wild, and he'll sit in the pocket and be open to counters. Granted, that doesn't matter here. He throws a strike, he's going to be out of position, he's going to get taken down. Patchy Mix submission in the first round is my prediction for this fight. I think he's going to put a dominant display on Albert Morales in this one. All right, so Patchy Mix at minus 1,000. Oof, wide spread. All right, let's see the odds here. Mix wins inside the distance, minus 220. I think that's a decent pickup, but I don't love the minus 200 for an inside the distance. Not Mix by decision, minus 400. Under 1.5 rounds, minus 140. This fight is not expected to go long. Not the best betting plays on this fight. I like Mix. He's a lock. He's a definite lock. I like the inside the distance pickup if you have to do it. But at the end of the day, at a minus 220 price tag, I necessarily don't love it unless you're looking to put a good amount of dinero down on Patchy Mix. He should win it, and he's a lock here. He's going to beat Albert Morales unless something crazy happens. And I think Patchy Mix is a good to-go pick, absolute lock, and maybe you throw a prop bet on him winning the fight inside the distance. Now, let me quickly bring up the face off here. Mix and Alberto Morales. Size, not substantially different. Slight height advantage in favor of Patchy Mix. It's just a level difference of skill set here. And Patchy Mix is going to put on a dominant display. The number 2 fighter in Bellator versus a guy coming in unranked. That's the one thing about Bellator's rankings that I'm not liking. And I think that we have to maybe hold them a bit accountable In the UFC, if you ever saw the #2 contender in the world fighting an unranked guy, extremely rare unless he was like a champion from another organization. Granted, not the depth of Bellator. Definitely a tune-up fight here for Patchy Mix, who they're looking to continue to build and breed. And he's definitely a future contender once again. Does he ever beat Juan Archuleta or maybe Sergio Pettis? We'll see. We'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight. But I do think Patchy Mix eventually does challenge for a title again, and I think he's an absolute lock here and gets a win over a game and tough Albert Morales, but just not a championship caliber fighter like Patchy Mix is. Lorenz da Monsoon Larkin takes on Rafael Carvalho. You guys know how I feel about this fight. If you watched the videos earlier in the week, I even released an individual video on this one. One of the best dog pickups you can get. Carvalho, former middleweight champion, who's a very good striker, was actually supposed to be fighting in the LFA next week. He gets the short notice call up to fight Lorenz Larkin. Muay Thai, very high level. Stance switches, very good work in the clinch, 12 wins by knockout, 4 decisions. You look at Lorenz on the other side, very good striker who likes to mix the stances up as well, is extremely explosive and a high-level kickboxer, definitely has a little karate-esque background to him. But if you look at his performances, above 170 pounds is never as good. He fought all the way up at 205 years ago when he's a blown-up balloon and King Mo stopped him. He dropped to 185. He struggled in the UFC's middleweight division against mid-level or less competition. And now he's fighting a championship-level fighter in Rafael Carvalho, who really has only lost to extremely good names and dominant grapplers. Polizzi, dominant grappler. Vadim Nemkov, champion of the world. Lyoto Machida, split decision loss. Gegard Mousasi, champion of the world. And then a win over Chidi Njokuani, who's a very good striker and a solid welterweight, but not as good at middleweight. Lorenz Larkin's going to lose this fight here. I think Lorenz probably either loses a unanimous decision or I could even see him potentially getting stopped. I do want to bring up Lorenz record because I do want to talk about the old days when he was in the UFC in the middleweight division. You look at the performances. Francis Carmon beats him. Competitive fight with Chris Camozzi. Lost to Brad Tavares. Knockout loss to Costa Philippou. Derek Brunson beat him. And then obviously he was very good when he moved up to 170 pounds, just losing one fight to Albert Tumanov in a very competitive split decision. Douglas Lima beat him. Paul Daly knocks him out. And now he's on a great win streak at 170 pounds. Lorenz Larkin is a monster, but Rafael Carvalho is bigger, 6'3", 5'11", 78-inch reach, 72.5-inch reach, very good kickboxer from the outside. It's just a stylistic matchup nightmare, in my opinion. Sure, Lorenz could close distance and land something big. Machida couldn't stop Carvalho. He's not an easy guy to put away. Vadim Nemkov submitted him. Lorenz Larkin does not have that level of grappling game to put a guy like Carvalho on the ground and control him throughout. I think Carvalho winning a decision is very possible here over Lorenz Larkin. Gotta love the Monsoon for taking this fight, but man, I really wish he would just be fighting at 170 because I think he's gonna take an L here, and that hurts his standing at 170 no matter if it's in or out of the weight class. You look at Carvalho, a little bit taller, both guys in good shape. I got Carvalho winning this fight by a unanimous decision over Lorenz Larkin. Should be a good matchup though. I am really excited to see what happens here. Let's look at the odds just for a moment. All right. Lorenz Larkin and Rafael Carvalho. At plus 175, throw the money down on Carvalho. He's going to beat Lorenz Larkin. If Lorenz wins, to me, I think Carvalho's then a shot fighter. And I don't believe he is just yet. I really don't. I think he has the tools to be victorious. And I think Carvalho winning this fight. I would throw maybe a little something at Carvalho wins by decision at plus 335. What does Lorenz offer besides dynamic power, which he definitely has, to win the fight against a guy this much taller? It's very unlikely. I don't see it. Lorenz Larkin, Rafael Carvalho. I got Carvalho winning the fight, and I think he is the live dog on this Bellator's card, the most live dog at plus 175. I'd throw something down. I am throwing something down. I already did on Rafael Carvalho. So lock in your bets if you're looking to put some money on the dogs here, because we got Carvalho in this matchup. Let me check the comments for a moment and see what is going on here. PFL starting soon, Czar. We're doing the full card breakdown. 13 fight parlay. Hey, bro, you got this. Let's go. Yo, Mitchell MacArthur, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. I'm happy you joined the MMA Experts family, bro. We're covering all things MMA. Some good fights coming up. Today, tomorrow, the next day. What a week for fight fans. And we also have championship boxing with Canelo, who honestly, I think boxing is making a bit of a turnaround. It's starting to slowly come back. And I got to thank Canelo and the Eddie Hearn and them for setting up this matchup, because honestly, Canelo Billy Joe is a big fight, and I'm very excited to see it. If you guys didn't watch the prediction video for that, I do have it. It will be on the page if you're looking for it. Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe is a huge card, and we talked about pretty much every bettable fight on that card. Raufeon Stots versus Josh Hill. Stots, very good prospect. Only loss is to Merab Dvalishvili in a fight that I believe he was expected to win. Josh Hill on the other side has looked pretty good in Bellator. Win over Erik Perez, win over Vinny Asani. And then outside, has had some decent performances in competitive fights. But I mean, the guy is a good fighter. Serious reach disadvantage here, 72.5 to 66.5. So short arms. The 1 inch taller Stots. Granted, very freakish reach he brings to the table in this fight. He also brings a good overall game, but especially his grappling skill set is fairly high level. He's a southpaw and a very patient striker, and his wrestling is excellent. Highly efficient when on the top position. Most of his opponents, you're going to see him just control the hell out of. 8 wins by decision, 3 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission. Has some versatile victories, but more of a decision guy. He's a D2 national wrestling champion. That's very notable. Hill, on the other hand, is a decent striker who likes to switch it up. Southpaw, orthodox. He's very patient, and he likes to wrestle as well. 13 wins by decision. 2 good wrestlers in this matchup. I think we could potentially have a lot of striking here, but I do feel Stots may land some takedowns. I think he's just a bit better than Josh Hill, a bit faster, and the reach advantage is going to be something. Southpaw versus Southpaw. It should be an interesting fight. I am going to pick Stots in this matchup, but I do acknowledge Hill is a skilled fighter, but still, I think a Stots unanimous decision is possible here. Hill is good enough to give a competitive fight to Stots, but I don't necessarily think he's going to go out there and beat Raufeon Stots. Let's actually pull up the face-off before we bring the betting numbers up. Let's see the face-off here if I can find it. There we go. We got Stots and Hill. I got to give Hill some respect. That man is shredded to the bone, as is Stots. This is high-level matchmaking. Top bantamweight. Stots is emerging as a contender. A victory for either man would put them very close to a world title shot, if not at least a number 1 contender fight. For Stots, could reward him a title shot. Granted, needs a bit more time to build his name. You know, I don't think that many fans are acknowledging him just yet. Kind of the fault of Bellator for putting on the prelims all the time and never giving him those main card shots. But here he gets a very good opportunity in this featured prelim bout. I have Raufeon Stots beating Josh Hill by a decision. Josh Hill is an incredible test for him. May the best man win it. I'm picking Stots. Is he a super strong confidence bet? I feel he should win it. I like him by a unanimous decision, but Hill is going to be competitive. And if a fight's competitive, at the end of the day, something could happen. It could potentially go either way. But I like Stots' skill sets to beat Josh Hill in this one. You look at the odds for this fight as of right now. Stots a strong favorite. I think the odds could be more like minus 150 to plus 135, something more along those lines. Unfortunately, they're a lot more widespread than that. If I'm looking to put money down and you want to save yourself the risk of being wrong here, I feel like fight goes the distance at minus 230 is a pretty much lock. I see this fight going the distance. Stots to win by a decision here. Plus 105, I don't love it. I don't love the props in this fight, to be honest. Plus 285 Hill, if you do like the dog, him by a decision. Plus 285 is not a bad look. You get him just at plus 180 straight up and not worry about the method. I like Stots to win on a decision at plus 105. It's okay. I don't love it. Maybe we do it. Maybe we don't. Personally, if you're looking for parlays that are absolute locks, maybe keep Stots out of there if you're a little bit worried. Let me also check the live chat and see what you guys are talking about. All right. Man, that's a money parlay right there. You got it locked. Hey, what's up, MMA Locker Room? How you doing, my man? Yeah, Stots. I got Stots also, man. He's going to win the fight. His wrestling should win it. I might sprinkle a little something on the prop bet of him winning a decision. If you're a little bit worried, though, and you do see the skill set of Josh Hill, it's good. I do understand a lot of people wanting to skip that one. Yeah, I would be shocked if Carvalho lost. I was so surprised to see the odds of that matchup, that in the favor of Lorenz Larkin. That's a steal, guys. Pick up Carvalho if you can. All right. All right. Let's get to the next fight of the night. Let's see. I think we're on the main card, are we? Yes, we are. We've arrived at the main card, and you know what that means. Smash the like button. Let's blow this video up. Let's get as many likes as possible, whether you're watching live or on replay. Smash the likes. Let's get at least 80 likes on this. I think we can hit the triple digits in 100. So keep smashing those likes. Leave a comment if you're watching on replay. Let me know what you think of the picks. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Keep pumping in the live chat. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and supporting the channel, covering the best sport in the world, MMA, baby. Michael Venom Page versus Derek Anderson. This is a fight that I am very excited for. This is Michael Venom's Page finally getting a legitimate fight. You look at the past four, they haven't really been all that great. I mean, Richard Queally, yes, good performance, he won. Giannimello, who is that, right? He wins. Granted, these guys are okay. I'm not trying to shit on the fighters that he's fighting. Shinzo and I mean, okay. Ross Houston, decent, but not world-class competition to be ranked number one in Bellator's welterweight division, as Michael Venom Page, when they first initially opened up, was ranked at. Derek Anderson's a stern test, and if you beat Derek Anderson, yes, you can deserve a title shot from here. And I do think this is a fun matchup. I think it's a very good test for Page. I think Anderson definitely has some positive attributes to like, but against a guy like Michael Venom Page, he kind of just does everything besides maybe wrestling offensively better than Anderson. Let's talk about this fight a little more in detail. I have a couple of notes I want to bring up here with Anderson. First, his kickboxing is actually very good, and his kicks from the outside are excellent. Brings decent wrestling to the game and a solid chin. Never been knocked out throughout his entire career. I think he only has, 3 losses as a pro. This is high-level matchmaking for Bellator. I'm very glad they did it. Michael Venom Page is a unique specimen. He'll put his hands extremely low, his stance extremely wide. He'll bait you to come in. He is a master of gamesmanship. He knows how to mess with the minds of his opponents. I mean, when he wants to, he can fight technically. We've seen him bring the hands up and look like a very high-level Thai-style striker. I mean, the guy is good everywhere. His boxing is good, as wins as a pro boxer. He likes to feint that left hand and then set up the straight down the line. Watch out for that. I think it could land here. I think he could hurt Derek Anderson. A lot of straight shots. I think Anderson will struggle to close the distance. He'll be confused with the awkward style. I have to acknowledge Anderson being very tough. I think Page wins a decision in this matchup. He could get a TKO if he catches Anderson, but I think more likely you see Page outpoint him, win himself a unanimous decision, and beat Derek Anderson here at the minus 325 price. Let's see if that's actually accurate, because Tapology doesn't always update the odds. Minus 310 to plus 255. Before we talk more in detail, I will bring up the image from the weigh-ins. I do want to give you guys the best looks we can here. All right, let's see if I can find this image from the weigh-ins. All right, MVP and Anderson. Height difference is not much, maybe an inch for Page. He is listed at 6'3" to 6 feet. I don't know, it doesn't look like he's that tall, but the reach, that's going to be a factor. The wide stance, the long legs. Michael Venom Page wins this fight on a unanimous decision. Could get a late TKO here, but Anderson never being finished, I wouldn't want to throw the house down on that. I like Page winning this fight by a decision. I think he's a good parlay addition. We'll see what props they have available right now, but I don't necessarily think the odds will be very favorable. We'll see, though. There might be some money odds here. Let's check it out. Anderson wins by TKO, plus 750, very unlikely. Plus 105 for Page to win by knockout. I thought the odds might be a little better, but just because, I mean, Anderson has never been finished, so the bookies, I guess, didn't really take that into consideration, or maybe they didn't. They just didn't want to give you good money if Page does pull it off, so it's not really worth that bet. Page winning the fight by a decision is actually plus 250. You can find it all the way up at, I mean, around the plus 235, plus 225 range. I like Page winning by a decision here. I think it's a decent prop, but I don't love it because he could get the knockout. I personally like a straight up parlay bet on MVP to beat Derek Anderson. He has the tools to do it. Very good from the outside. You look at Anderson, kind of does good work as well, but without that unique flair. Michael Venom Page is going to beat him. He's going to outpoint him here. Superior striker, superior fighter. Anderson should look to wrestle. He probably will, but it's going to be very hard to do on that awkwardness of Michael Venom Page. He's not an easy guy to deal with, and his grappling is underrated. He's actually pretty decent on the ground. Michael Venom Page, unanimous decision. Maybe you throw a prop, maybe you don't here. The props are not the best unless you're going UD from Michael Venom Page, but it's a guy that does weird shit and can definitely land a finish somehow at any time. Next fight of the night, Patricky Pitbull, but before we get into that, I will answer some of the comments here. All right. Yeah, make sure you guys get those PFL bets in if you haven't yet. I like with Omar. Hey, I like what you said. You're leaning towards Arch Pettis going the distance. Definitely very possible in this matchup. All right, let's talk about Patricky Pitbull and Peter Queally. Live dog. Patricky looked very good in the Ryzen tournament. Granted, some soccer kicks were used and whatnot, and this is the unified rule set. Split decision over Ryan Scope in the last Bellator bout. Knockout of Roger Huerta, but what is that really worth at this point? Tofik Musayev, we don't know enough about him as of right now. Hasn't fought since that fight against Patricky. Peter Queally, though, knockout win over Ryan Scope. I'm not saying MMA math works, but a split and a knockout, something to note. Does have a loss, though, to a 10-7 miles price, which I don't like. How good is Patricky now being over 35? He's been 35 for 3 months now. Not the same young fighter that he was with that crazy explosiveness and knockout power. I still think he has the tools to be victorious, and he is a good fighter. But here in a matchup versus a guy that trains at SPG, a guy with an aggressive Thai style of striking and actually has very good hands, and he likes to mix the stances up too, and he likes to enter the pocket while switching, throwing the straight, could get caught, but also sometimes it works very well for him. And he's never been finished. Queally's never been finished once as a professional. Pitbull, 15 wins by knockout. I think the Irishman is a live dog here, and we have to bring up the factors why. 3.5-inch reach advantage, 2 inches taller. We'll bring up the weigh-in image, and I'll see if you guys agree with this pick, but I'm leaning towards Peter Queally. I don't want to say he's an absolute lock of a dog because I love Patricky. I'm a fan of Patricky. And honestly, I would like to see Patricky return to prime form. Looks a little soft in the middle. Something to note. Peter Queally knows this is the biggest opportunity of his life. How good does Patricky show up? It's a tricky bet. Are you going to pick Patricky? Are you going to bet Queally? Maybe you dog or pass it and lean Queally because I think it's probably going to go the distance. My fear, though, is Bellator gives it to Patricky, even if you see Queally doing very good work and on his way to victory and it's competitive fight enough, they might lean it towards Patricky. I mean, he's a longtime staple guy. I'm not saying the judges are rigged, but at the end of the day, it could happen, and we have seen fights go the wrong way in the past in Bellator, UFC, and PFL, every MMA organization. And a guy like Patricky could definitely get the favor on the lines. This fight going the distance, plus 155. I like the idea of that. Queally never being finished. Patricky not finishing his recent Bellator opponents. Granted, has gotten finishes in Ryzen over a year ago, though. It's a tricky fight to pick, and honestly, I like the dog in this one to win it by a decision. If he knocks out Patricky, that would be crazy. It could happen. Not going to call this the lock of the week dog. I'd much rather throw, if I have to pick one, on Carvalho. There's some okay props. If you guys want me to bring up any specific props, I will look at that. Yeah, this fight is so much closer than the odds have it. And I do feel like it's tricky, man. This is a very tricky fight to pick here. I'm going to ride. I want to ride with Patricky, but man, I think Queally can win this fight. It's one of those dog or pass situations. I'll pick Queally, but I'm not going to tell you, oh, lock of the week, throw the house down. Patricky in his prime beats Peter Queally, but I don't know if Patricky is in his prime any longer. And I think Queally could maybe edge him out on a split decision. But do you want to throw on a split decision? No, and you probably wouldn't want to bet on the favorite winning on a split decision. So logically, the better bet is a dog pickup at the plus money, plus 235 to plus 250. I like Queally to win this one. I think he can do it, but I'm not going to guarantee you guys victory. And if you are looking for some crazy parlays, don't have Queally be your main reliance, because I don't want you guys to go out there and then get shat on if Queally somehow goes out there and gets starched in 30 seconds, which could happen because Patricky has insane power and in his prime is very good. Is he still in his prime? We're going to find out. He's over 35. We'll see what he's got left in the gas tank here. Let me quickly pull up the image from the weigh-ins. Oh, no, I did. I already pulled it up. Excuse me on that one. Let me get to the next fight of the night, the co-main event of the evening. Make sure you guys smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. As we said, the goal, 80 likes for this video. Realistically, we're looking for the 100. So smash the like, subscribe, whether on replay or on live. Smash that like button. Covering all things MMA here over at MMA Experts. And we're talking about Bellator. Huge fight here between Rumble Johnson and Jose Augusto Azevedo. Comeback of Rumble. Does he have the skill set that he once has? You want my opinion on it? I absolutely believe he will, especially when you see him at weigh-in. So let's bring up the weigh-in image here because it is really worth talking about. All right, let's get Rumble right here. Rumble, shredded to the bone. He's at a height disadvantage, but he's got the reach advantage. Rumble trains at Sanford MMA. Very high-level names. Augusto, a Pitbull Brothers protege, has a very good submission skill set, decent striking, lacks the athleticism, lacks the explosive. Listen, If Ryan Bader, I said this all week, if he's 3/4 the man, maybe even half, he's going to beat Augusto. I believe he looks like he's still at that level. We'll find out on fight night. I don't think Rumble would come back if he didn't have the tools to be successful. I'm riding Rumble Johnson knockout round number 1. We'll see what happens when the cage door closes, but Rumble should get the knockout here. If Augusto were to win, that would be such a big upset. It would definitely put a huge stain on the tournament. Because now not only does Rumble lose, and then Yoel's out, the tournament just flips on its head, and crazy shit happens in MMA. Likelihood, minimal. Possibility, always there. I have Rumble winning this one, though, by a knockout. And even with the time off, his shape really does give me confidence. And I was fearful in how he would look. Johnson inside the distance, minus 245. Johnson wins the decision, plus 485. It's probably not going. I would be shocked if this fight goes the distance here. Not a lot of props available for this one, unfortunately. But Rumble Johnson is a good parlay pickup. I really do believe he'll win unless he is a shot fighter. I don't believe he is. He looks fantastic. We'll see when the cage door closes. But a smart pick is still going to be Rumble here over Jose Augusto Azevedo. Now, we've arrived to the main event, and there's been some differing opinions on this main event, which I like. We need different opinions on the main event. Before I go too far into it, I will check out some of these comments here. All right. Talk about this main event. Let's see. Baby Yoda, I like you busting balls here, man. That's what you're here for, bro. You gotta get me when you disagree. I don't mind, man. I love a friendly debate on the fights. Juan Archuleta, Sergio Pettis. Okay. Archuleta has one of the prettiest records you can get, 25-2. He's been fighting pretty decent opponents, winning by decision, dominantly knocked out Eduardo Dantas, lost to Patricio by decision. That's pretty respectable. Beat Corrales, beat Patchy Mix in a fight I didn't expect him to beat Patchy, and he put on a good performance. Bandejas, Alfred Kashakian. Is Sergio Pettis, not Anthony. Is he going to follow his brother's footstep and lose this weekend? Well, first, let's talk about Archuleta. The guy has solid striking and knockout power in the hands. 11 wins by knockout, also 13 wins by decision. So he's definitely a guy that can do it all. He trains over at Team Alpha Male some of the time, I believe. I don't know exactly for sure. I know he's still close with TJ Dillashaw, and I believe he is close with some of the Alpha Male guys, but I might be wrong in that, so don't quote me there. Lots of movement and a very good wrestler. And I mean, against Patchy Mix, put on the best performance we've ever seen out of him. 33 years of age, so still relatively young. Sergio Pettis, excellent kickboxer, very good movement and excellent striking speed, and his range management in and out of distance extremely well. 13 wins by decision for Pettis. My fear, Pettis has been out-wrestled in the past, but he's definitely improved his wrestling game. But as his brother, they're not natural wrestlers, and natural wrestlers are just always going to have a slight edge on the guys that are not. Is Pettis going to win this fight for certain? Well, I picked him earlier in the week. I think there's still a lot of possibility with Pettis here, but I do want to bring in the face-off. We'll say the flag that Archuleta had a little bit in the way here, but it is what it is. We'll still talk about it. My fear now, seeing them face off, size differential favors Archuleta. Guys that have beaten Sergio Pettis have been lesser fighters than Archuleta. Sure, MMA math doesn't work. It's a different fight. Technically speaking, Sergio is the better fighter. Tenacious, aggressive, good in the clinch, explosive. I mean, Juan Archuleta is by no means an easy fight. Seeing them next to each other, he seems like the bigger man by at least 2 inches. He's going to have the physical strength advantage. Earlier in the week, I picked Pettis as a dog. And if you want to sprinkle on a dog, you can. But I am starting to get fearful as this week goes on that he may be outmatched here. I don't necessarily want to fully sway the pick, but I feel like Archuleta, I'm going to be honest, I was doing more study of the film. I went and watched a couple more fights of Archuleta, and then I was watching Pettis. And I'm very high on Pettis. I'm a fan of Sergio Pettis, and I don't want to let my fanhood of him sway my decision on an accurate prediction here. If you're looking to bet a dog, Pettis could deliver for us, but Carvalho, much more effective. A much better pick of a dog is going to be Carvalho. In my opinion, I picked Queally to beat Patricky. I picked Carvalho to beat Larkin. Does Pettis, a 3-headed dog, go out there and beat Juan Archuleta? It's possible. I like this. I'm gonna confirm that I think this fight does go the distance. I think that is a very likely possibility. So if you are looking to place a bet, fight goes the distance, the judges agree, minus 250. I'm starting to get wary later in the week. I am not gonna lie to you. Let's check out this Archuleta prop bet, which I do think is favorable Archuleta wins this fight by a decision, plus 105. Not great, not terrible. Pettis at plus 250 to win by decision. This fight is a hard fight to pick. I know some of you guys in the comments have a different pick. I know. I think that every MMA analyst out there is going to be back and forth on this one. I'm going to say this. If you're looking for a dog pickup, there's better dog options on the card because I don't think you necessarily want to bet the house on Pettis. Let's look at some of the recent matchups of both guys. I do want to talk about Pettis' losses because I think that's playing a factor. And the more you study Archuleta, I start getting this feeling in my gut. Sergio Pettis may match into his game well. Lost to Cejudo here. He does have a win over Brandon Moreno. I mean, he's beat very good fighters in the past, and he's been competitive with so many names. It's such a tricky fight to pick, guys. I like dog or passing it for a bet. I like Pettis. I'm a fan of Pettis, but I don't want to let that sway all of you to my bias maybe towards Pettis to win this fight. Jussier Formiga beat him by a decision. Good grappler. Rob Font, excellent striker, beat him. But he beat Tyson Nam, Alfred Kashakian, and Ricky Bandejas. I feel like Juan Archuleta is going to come in with a grappling-heavy game plan here. I think he's going to do a lot of clinch work. I think he's going to make it close range. I feel as though this fight is a 50-50 pick'ems matchup. The odds being minus 165 to plus 120. Maybe a sprinkle something on Pettis by a decision if you're looking for a bet. If you're confident in Archuleta, sure, throw down on him because he definitely can win it. I don't want to... I don't know, man. This fight is crazy, right? I've literally been sitting on this fight all week and thinking more and more about it, and it's honestly a very difficult fight to pick. I think that decision is a lock here. Fight's going the distance, but now, who edges it out? Pettis technically is the better striker than Archuleta. Archuleta definitely physically stronger and the better offensive wrestler. Pettis got taken down by Ricky Bandejas in the last fight. Granted, wasn't in too much trouble, but Ricky Bandejas is nowhere near the level of Juan Archuleta. Now, Pettis has very good movement. Could that potentially pose a threat for Archuleta? Archuleta's the bigger guy. Has Pettis been great at 135? No, but he's been decent. Crazy pick here, crazy fight here. I would say maybe fade the straight up bet and play a prop. If you like Archuleta, I totally get it here. He has the clinch advantage. The more we're talking about this, I feel like I'm starting to sell myself on Archuleta. Maybe so I might have to lean to switch the pick. I hate switching the pick, especially against my boy Sergio Pettis. I want Pettis to come through. I'm a fan. I'm a guy that loves Pettis. He has great kickboxing, but physical strength is a factor. Beating Patchy mix in grappling is a factor. Juan Archuleta went the distance with Patricio Pitbull. The more you watch this guy, the more I get sold. Seeing them face off, he seems ever confident. He's bigger than Sergio. Sergio's going to be very good. He's going to go the distance. I could see 48-47, Juan Archuleta winning a decision, but I could also see him 49-46 or even 50-45ing across the board. My fear is that Pettis gets put on his back too easily. My fear is when they get in the clinch, Pettis is outmatched. My fear is that Pettis does not have the physical strength nor the defensive wrestling. His brother has the same issue. They just tend to struggle against these gritty fighters who are good in dirty boxing range, are good in the clinch, and good with takedowns. They struggle. You look at the Eddie Alvarez fight with Pettis, rather being Anthony Pettis. I think the Archuleta fight might look similar to that. Pettis is very good from the outside, and he can land really good kicks. He's going to chop at the legs. He's going to look for straights. Archuleta's going to be in his face and all over him. Maybe dog or pass it. Maybe sprinkle a little something on both. Maybe you bet Sergio by a decision, and you also throw something on Archuleta to cover your ass just in case by a decision. I think that's a more reasonable outcome because this is an absolute 50-50 pick'ems fight. There's fights like that just truly blow the minds of us all. I think Archuleta might edge him out by just a smidge, though, on the scorecards, and it might look similar to maybe that fight with Cejudo with a lot of wrestling. But granted, Henry Cejudo is one of the greatest fighters, and Pettis went the distance. It's a weird fight. Weird pick here. Either way, I think it's an excellent matchup, and I cannot wait to see this bout here between Juan Archuleta and Sergio Pettis. I think that it's going to deliver in entertainment value. I think it's an awesome main event. Being a Pettis fan, as I said, I don't want to give that my inherent bias towards being a fan of Pettis. So I definitely don't want to do that and sway you guys towards him. It's a 50-50 pick'ems. I like a bet on maybe either guy winning by decision. Fight goes the distance is nearly a lock. Smash that like button, guys, if you have not already. We still have more to do in this video. I do want to talk a little bit more about just like straight up betting only here. Got 18 likes currently. If you're watching the replay, who knows? Hopefully we have well over 80. But smash that like button and subscribe if you're new here. If you haven't yet, smash those likes. Let's get it at least. We got 30 of you in here. Let's get it at least to 24. I know we can do it. So smash the like button, guys. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Let's talk about some bets. Betting only. Parlays specifically. Crazy card we have here. I want to give you guys some really high possibility of success parlays, but I also want to give you guys that are worth a bet with the odds. Double it up, Carvalho page plus 264. I like the plus money on that one. If you are a crazy man, if you are a dog picker, you love dogs, if you add Peter Queally, you're at plus 1118. Am I saying to bet on this? Maybe, maybe not. Sprinkle it, because 1118 for this one with very winnable fights. My fear is that Queally, though, even if he wins the fight, loses the decision, so I'll take him off. And let's say we put Eblen on, you're at plus 364. Eblen's a lock, Page is a lock, and Carvalho's a lock. If you play with Carvalho, I'm telling you, unless he's shot and his career is over, I don't believe it is, he's going to win this fight against Lorenz Larkin. He's such a good matchup. I love Carvalho on my parlays. I'm playing him on a few. If you're feeling that Sergio Pettis pick and you're like, hey, I want to put him down, put Sergio on that pickup. You got plus 1,083. But you got to give Archuleta his respect. If you're a big Archuleta guy, a lot of you are, plus 581 for that. Decent pickup as well. Stots, another guy that I personally like to have on the parlay. I'm a fan of Stots. I think he has the skills to win. If you bet earlier in the week, though, the better pick would have been Patchy Mix. But look how widespread it's gotten at this point. Like, sure, we can lock some huge dogs. We're going to do like a crazy parlay on this one just for the fun of it. But I don't necessarily love betting on 1500s, 900s. You know, like these odds are just so heavily swayed in the favor. Minus 329 for a mix, Corrales and Storley pickup. I mean, it's not a good look. I mean, yeah, we're getting a lot of picks, but they're not doing much for us, and they're definitely not doing much for our wallet, and we're taking so much risk. Personally, I would, if you want to go crazy, do whatever you want, but personally, I don't like the minus 900s, minus 1000s. It's just not a good look, and I don't think it really will deliver at the lines. A bet that I like that I really think has the possibility of delivering is this one right here. Carvalho Page, double it up. I think we're going to deliver big on this one. You can add Rumble if you're looking for another strong favorite. You can add Eblen if you're looking for another good favorite. And if you're looking for somebody else that I have faith in, not everybody does, you add Raufeon Stots, plus 689. This is a money parlay that can truly deliver for us. Now, there's more guys that I could add to it, but I'm going to call these our third leggers. These are our less confident guys, maybe guys that may deliver, but definitely could let us down. Erik Perez has let us down in Bellator before, but at plus 847, if he does come through, we'll be making very good money on that one. Do we want to add more fighters in? How many more do we really want to add? Do we want to put Weber Almeida with so many unknowns in there and his opponent missing weight, potentially having more size than him, beating him? Maybe you do. Maybe you're feeling it. Maybe you're not. Plus 1,000 for that parlay. Decent picks and parlays here. There's definitely some options. I do think that we're going to see some competitive fights, and I am very excited for the matchups throughout this card. Best bet of the night, in my opinion, if you're looking just to make the maximal profit and you're looking for one guy to bet on, put your money on Rafael Carvalho as a dog. He is the dog pick of the week. He is my most confident underdog of all the week. Granted, I think the other ones can deliver too if you're feeling crazy and you want to double dog it on this card specifically, because there is the option for it. If you go Carvalho, Queally, plus 821. And let's look at this. I mean, Patricky, if Peter Queally wasn't good, Patricky would be sitting at a minus 500. They know Queally's live. The odds makers just couldn't give that much due respect on Peter Queally, bringing the odds closer here. They still need to be plus 200 because who's Peter Queally to the casual fan? They have no idea who he is. I like this double dog pickup as well. I am going to play it myself, and I was going to actually add a favorite in it, and I'm going to add Page. So at plus 1118, we might really deliver on that one, but if you don't like Queally, I totally understand. Maybe you add in Rumble, and if you are a guy that likes Pettis, you can add him in there. You got Rumble, Page, two lock favorites. You got Carvalho, a lock dog, and then you have a 50-50 dog in Pettis, but this is going to be more riskier playing, a little more risky gamble here for that plus 165 price tag of Pettis. If you like Archuleta, you still get good money at the plus 575. If you want to maybe do something a little more wild, instead of just putting Rumble on, you could do Johnson inside the distance. You're now sitting at plus 412. When does Rumble not knock his opponent out? Rumble inside the distance is a money bet here at minus 245. Get Carvalho, get Michael Page, get Rumble. This is definitely a lock parlay, which I think is going to deliver for us big time. And I think we're going to be looking at some excellent fights. If you want to add some more props to it and you're looking to maybe parlay it up and you want to maybe put a fight goes the distance and not worry about the decision of the Pettis Archuleta fight plus 617, that's a good way to go. And I actually really like the way it's going with that one. Me personally, I do have this already played and I think it's a near lock here. And I think we're looking at good money to make on this card, guys. There's some excellent bouts. If you guys got questions, I'll still be here for just a minute longer. To answer Rami, what should we actually call you? Man, my name's AJ. You can call me AJ. You could call me MMA Experts too. I don't mind. Really, whatever you guys want to say, whatever's easier. A lot of people call me MMA Experts. But yeah, AJ DeVito is the name. Man, I am the true MMA Experts page is my page. And everything you see done here, it's all through my doing. And I do have the intros and outros, though. I got my editor, who I always got to give the shout out to in the comments, to Mez. So if you guys are looking for a good editor, you need some stuff done, he works for anybody. So let him know. That's pretty much it for this weigh-in recap. We've been here for over an hour now, I think, at this point. And pretty soon, I got to start this Bellator, or excuse me, PFL full card breakdown. Let me answer some of the questions inside of the live chat and see what you guys are talking about here. And then we'll be getting off here in just a moment. Kayla at minus 2,000 is steep. She won't fuck your parlay. She's going to win for sure. You can call me Danny DeVito too. I don't mind. That's funny, man. I like that. Rumble and Stots, but they both make you nervous. Honestly, I get it, bro. Honestly, I'd say Page is more of a lock, though, than Stots if you're feeling that nerve. MVP, Carvalho, and fight goes the distance for the main event. That's money. That's money, dude. That's money. I like that. I like that play, Mitchell. There's a lot of good plays to be made. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream here covering Bellator, the weigh-in recap. Cannot wait for this card. PFL coming at you very soon, dude. I literally have to go live in like 13 minutes and I got to get some food. So I'll see you guys back in about 15 minutes. I'm going to be live again. You're going to be with me all night. So if you're sick of me already, you're going to be even more sick of me by the end of the night because we're going to be talking probably for the next 5 hours or so. But I'll get back to you real soon. Smash that like button, subscribe. The goal is 80 likes on this video. I think we can hit 100 if you're new here. Subscribe to the channel. Keep it locked in at MMA Experts, covering all things MMA. Love all you guys for support, and thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on replay. Smash those likes, and see you guys very soon.